Test, 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 test. Yeah, but basically, people don't know how to do anything anymore, and so they've rendered themselves disabled to the point of nauseum, to the point of insanity. It's like they can't even entertain themselves and they don't even know what they're entertaining. It's getting out of control, folks. But basically, what we're doing to this is we're going to put 400 grit sanding beam on these frets and get everything perfectly level because they're nickel silver frets and they've been roughed up. And I did actually go over this already with a shorter beam, but I felt like it didn't get it. It was about this length with sanding paper, and it was just kind of a homemade block system, and I feel like I'll be able to do a lot better with this. I had something like this back in the day that was aluminum, but this is now a steel beam, and I've just adhered the sandpaper to the bottom, so that should work a lot better. Let me see if I can get the light placement better on this. That's probably a bit better. Yeah, so first I got to make sure this thing is as straight as possible. And I'm going to go need to grab my flashlight. I left that inside. But to where I can just check and make sure there's no light coming underneath this fretboard. Yeah, so thankfully it's pretty straight. I mean, there may be just the smallest amount of room to add relief but it's pretty damn decent for just taking the strings off and giving one little twist. And with this particular guitar, it's difficult to find the truss rod if you haven't worked on them because it's down here. And then once you get in there, of course, you find if there's not a slot, some people will actually make a slot. They'll retrofit it, or some of the newer builders will put that in there so you can get access. Otherwise, you got to take the whole neck off. But not really. Even still, on this one, it doesn't have a slot. You can get in there. You can kind of make yourself a proprietary tool to access the truss rod. And you got to get that straightened up. This guitar had a bone nut on it. I'm going to replace it with a nice Graphtec nut, which I think is a bit more resonant. And that should be a nice upgrade for it. We're looking pretty straight. I don't know that I really need to, I don't know that I need to straighten it anymore. I'm going to look one more time just to be sure. Yeah, I checked this before I put the tape on, but then it's been a day, and that's probably an error there. I should have probably checked it before I put the tape on and then did the work. Because now with the tape on, it's really hard to tell with certainty, because I got a little bit, maybe 0.03 of an inch variance with layers of tape there. But I know I had it perfectly straight before I put the tape on. And it looks pretty straight right now. There's just a little bit of... Here, let me see. It's another thing I can do. Just throw the straight edge on it. Yeah, we're nice and straight. Not touching that back pickup. All right. I'm going to look again here because it's just very important to me. It's just very important to me that before I do any work onto this, because it's actually... This is a really phenomenal neck on this guitar. It's very straight. And true as far as like when it is set up, the relief is perfect on it. I'll get like, perfect 0.08 of an inch relief on the high E, and like 12 thousandths on the low E, and then I'll try to push it and bring it down to like 10, to where I'm getting, sometimes it's like 6, maybe 7 on the high E, so it's like perfect. It kind of holds stronger on the high E. It's like at real low action. And the only thing that's weird about this guitar is that the width of the nut is the 1 5/8. It's just slightly smaller than how they do it now. It's like a millimeter smaller. And while that doesn't seem like much, for the string distribution, it actually is. So rather than use this pre-cut, pre-slotted nut by Graphtec, I'm going to cut a nut from a raw blank I have. I ordered that up, so I already have that. And that is right here. And so that will make that easy, because at least, I was actually going to carve the nut from some some deer antler that I have just from stuff I found out on the trail. But then I said, you know what, this will be quicker. This will be easier. I'll just take this out of the package and I can plop it on there. It's still a very good product, even though it is artificial. It's better than bone, actually. It's more consistent, which I don't usually say that about the artificial. I'd rather use natural materials, but in this case, for the nut, it's great to have that consistency and that ping, that just real nice, bright tone that that tusk nut gives you. I don't know if this is working too well, because in the picture it almost seems like it's a little washed out. Maybe I can get a better picture here. Let's see what I can do to improve. Yeah, but of course they're not going to stick me into the algorithm right away and give me the absurd amount of views that I deserve, because I'm changing the world here with this setup process. I've found a whole new proprietary system of how to set up guitars that even the layman can reproduce. I've reinvented the wheel. I came up with a concept all within my own brainstorm strategy that's brilliant, if I don't say so myself. Okay, so yeah, this is going to go on here. Now, I should probably have like a better support when I do this, like a neck cradle support. So I think I'm going to get that a little more. I mean, or at least something up here as well, you know. I'm gonna have to jimmy rig something, as they say. But yeah, I actually make all my frets myself out of platinum. They're platinum frets. It's a little expensive, but it's worth the upgrade, you know. You spend like $800 a fret, run that shit across the board, laugh your way to fucking superior tone, you know? And that's the problem with most of these clowns, is they don't know how to get decent tone out of their guitar. So they're using like the old school nickel silver when you could be putting the white gold straight up on the fucking runway and pleasing everybody's ears. But if you're not willing to make the investment, you're a cheap fucking bastard, then what it ends up happening is you just realize you'll never be able to have that superior tone. But yeah, I think that's what I need to do next, is support this better, so that when I go to level this out, because real talk, that's what I'm actually going to do. And I've done this before, but I've never done it with this tool. And I think I can do a better job with this tool. I haven't done it on this guitar, but I've done this job plenty. And with this guitar, I use like a little 4-inch one, and that didn't work well at all. So I stopped before I even got really far into it, and I just said, you know, I'm going to wait till I get this tool, because I started getting into fixing my guitars again, and some other people's guitars. So I just wanted to have, I got a friend that's got a twisted neck, and I thought, oh, this might help me in a number of ways. I also got this one that goes under the string. Yeah, I don't know where I placed that. Yeah, I'm gonna go get this a little more supported and figure out how I'm gonna. I think I got a plan here. Like I might just take a 2x4, lay this flat, and then kind of route it out with my table saw, and that will give like a channel for this to lay in. And I guess I could show that to y'all, but I just want to show you how much more productive I am than everybody else out there that's not really doing anything with their life. And yeah, y'all have a great day. Keep in mind, by the time this is done, this thing will play like a fucking wizard, laser accurate guitar that most of you probably don't appreciate because maybe you don't even play guitar, but if you did, you'd understand. The key thing, though, that I find is got to get the nut off when you're doing this so you got that room to really move and get that thing even across the board. And so I'm excited to do that. Let me see here. It's a long time coming, though, because I've enjoyed this guitar for a long time, and it's needed this work done. I've known how to do it, but I didn't have all the tools. Well, you know, it's not even just that I didn't have the tools. I had old tools that were kind of outdated. And there's so much new shit, like this slotted nut gauge. And I will say, if anybody's going to fucking play guitar and set their shit up, they should get one of these because it's just ridiculous the amount of information you can access on your instrument to get it to that next level. And aside from that, I'm going to bid you guys adieu. I think I got, quite a crowd in here right now. It's pretty impressive. I was impressed with myself with just how I adhered the sandpaper to the beam so instinctively. I got that all secure, but I am missing a couple things here to take this to the next level, and I'm realizing that now as I'm talking it out. So I'm not going to move forward until I'm ready to take that next step. And I just need to get the neck secured a little better. And I kind of knew that going in. You know, they got these neck cradles, but they want to charge you another arm and a leg for a part, and I don't want to pay for it. And I can figure something out. I could use sandbags if I need to all along this to support it. I got sand. All right, I'm going to figure that out. Cheers.